The bitter wind howled relentlessly outside the ice cavern, rattling the thin walls of their temporary laboratory, a hollowed-out chamber carved painstakingly from the frozen depths of Ilum's crystalline forests. Inside, the atmosphere stood in stark contrast, tense, expectant, almost reverent. At the center of the room, Thomas Veer knelt beside a cluster of translucent ice cores, their pale blue shafts catching the light from the portable LEDs that flickered against the cavern ceiling. Each core was a frozen cylinder of time, a fragile archive of the planet's mysterious past. And Thomas handled them with the care of a man unearthing secrets long buried beneath eons of frost. Elara Voss hovered nearby, her sharp eyes scanning the data streaming across her wrist console. The expedition leader's usual composure was tinged with a rare flicker of excitement. "These layers," Thomas began, voice low yet steady, "they shouldn't be here. The mineral deposits, the microfossils trapped within, they don't align with any known geological or biological timeline from Ilum." Elara stepped closer, her breath fogging the cold air as she peered at the holographic projection Thomas had conjured. The images revealed minute, crystalline structures embedded in the ice, their geometric patterns too precise to be natural. "Artificial?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "It's possible," Thomas replied, tracing a finger along the projected core's layers. "Or some form of ancient biological activities, something that predates the civilization we thought we were dealing with." The team gathered around, the gravity of the discovery settling like frost on their shoulders. Mira Thalon adjusted her goggles, her fingers deftly tweaking the settings on a handheld scanner. The device emitted a series of soft beeps as it swept over the ice, detecting faint electromagnetic signals that pulsed weakly beneath layers of frozen sediment. "There's definitely something here," Myra said, eyes bright with a mixture of scientific curiosity and cautious excitement. "Dormant technology, or maybe remnants of a power source. We just need to dig deeper." Captain Rian Kessler stood near the entrance, his broad frame a silent sentinel against the howling storm outside. His scarred cheek tightened as he surveyed the shifting shadows cast by the flickering lights. "Let's not forget the environment," he reminded the group, voice clipped and pragmatic. "Every minute we spend here increases our risk. The planet isn't just cold, it's hostile. And whatever's down here, it's not going to welcome us with open arms." Dr. Jonas Reeve, the ever-pragmatic medical officer, nodded in agreement. "Psychological strain is already showing. We have to manage the team's health as much as the data." Elara absorbed their words, her mind racing. The ice cores had shifted the entire paradigm of their mission. No longer was Ilum merely a frozen relic harboring lost transmissions and enigmatic ruins. It was a layered enigma, a palimpsest of ancient life and technology intertwined beneath the ice. "We proceed with caution," she declared, her voice steady despite the storm of thoughts inside. "But we cannot turn away now. These frozen echoes are the key to understanding not just Ilum, but perhaps the very origins of the civilization that left these ruins behind." Outside, the storm intensified, the crystalline ice forests groaning under the weight of the relentless wind. Within the cavern, the team returned to their work, driven by the tantalizing promise of discovery and shadowed by the ever-present threat of the Ilum enigma. Each revelation was a step further into the unknown, where awe and dread danced on the edge of survival. Thomas carefully prepared another ice core for analysis, his gloved hands steady despite the cold that seeped through every layer of their protective clothing. As he worked, the air around them seemed to hum with a subtle energy, as though the planet itself was watching, waiting to see how much of its ancient story these intruders would uncover. and what price they would ultimately pay. The discoveries so far had already begun to unsettle the team. The microfossils hinted at life forms that should not have existed in this frozen wasteland. The mineral layers suggested deliberate alteration, perhaps by a force or intelligence far beyond their understanding. Ilara's mind drifted to the cryptic inscriptions they had found earlier. The shifting crystalline patterns that hinted at technology still active beneath the ice. Was the planet itself a living archive, protected by its own enigmatic defenses? Ilara Mira's voice broke through her thoughts. "Look at this." She held up the scanner, showing readings that pulsed faintly in a rhythmic pattern. These signals, it's almost like a heartbeat. Ilara frowned, her analytical mind racing. A heartbeat beneath the ice, or a warning? The question hung heavy in the frigid air. Captain Kessler's gaze hardened. "Whatever it is," he said grimly, "we need to be ready for anything." The team's discussions grew more urgent as night fell over the ice cavern. The storm outside was a ruthless reminder of the planet's indifference to human endeavor. Yet inside, the flickering light of their instruments and the determined faces of the explorers painted a picture of hope and resolve. As Tomos prepared to extract another sample, Ilara approached him quietly. "Do you think the civilization that left these signatures survived? Or were they wiped out by their own creations?" Tomas shrugged, his breath visible in the cold air. "That's the question we're all here to answer." Suddenly, the cavern's walls shimmered faintly, crystalline facets reflecting an eerie light. The team fell silent, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. The Ilum enigma was stirring once again, its presence felt but unseen, a guardian of secrets they were only beginning to understand. Ilara swallowed hard, a chill not entirely from the cold running down her spine. We've only just begun to hear the frozen echoes of Ilum's past, and somewhere deep beneath the ice, the planet waited, patient and watchful, as the expedition ventured ever deeper into its ancient heart. The frozen silence of Ilum's crystalline forests was never truly quiet. Underneath the surface shimmer of ice and snow, a subtle pulse began to resonate, a rhythm that unsettled even the most seasoned members of the expedition. As twilight fell, the ice around the camp seemed to breathe, faint waves of light flickering like a distant heartbeat. Dr. Elara Voss stood at the edge of the camp's perimeter, her breath crystallizing in the frigid air. The translucent ice pillars glowed softly, their inner structure shifting with an almost sentient grace. She squinted into the dimming light, feeling a prickling sensation along her skin, as if the very atmosphere whispered secrets in a language just beyond comprehension. "Do you see that?" she called softly to Captain Rion Kessler, who was methodically checking the perimeter sensors. Kessler's eyes narrowed, scanning the crystalline forest. "I see shadows moving where there shouldn't be any," he replied grimly, his hand resting near his sidearm. "Stay alert. This planet isn't done with us yet." Meanwhile, Mira Thalon crouched near an alien artifact half buried in the snow, her fingers tracing the intricate patterns etched into the crystalline surface. The device pulsed faintly under her touch, sending tiny vibrations up her arm. Suddenly, a sharp jolt surged through her, and her eyes fluttered as visions flooded her mind, ghostly images of a civilization long extinct, their light-filled halls and cryptic warnings encoded in energy patterns. She gasped, pulling back. "It's alive," she whispered, voice trembling with a mix of fear and exhilaration. Back in the medical tent, Dr. Jonas Reeve observed the team's growing unease with clinical concern. The psychological toll of the planet's hostile environment was manifesting in subtle but dangerous ways. Several members reported strange dreams, sensory distortions, and a creeping paranoia that none could explain. Lena Ortiz sat in the communications hub, headphones on, attempting to filter through the static that pervaded their attempted transmissions. Between bursts of white noise, she caught faint, rhythmic signals patterns that seemed almost deliberate. Could this be a message from the ancient civilization, or a trap laid by the Ilum enigma itself? That night, as the aurora-like shimmer of Ilum's atmosphere danced overhead, Ilara found herself alone in her tent, enveloped in a surreal vision. The ice walls around her dissolved into a vast hall of crystalline light. Figures, translucent and ethereal, moved silently, their forms flickering like holograms. They gestured toward her, conveying a sense of urgency and warning. She reached out, but the vision faded, leaving her with a profound sense of awe and annoying dread. The enigma was not merely a threat, it was a sentinel of knowledge and power, a force both ancient and inscrutable. Captain Kessler's patrol was disrupted by a sudden chorus of crystalline chimes echoing through the forest. The sounds were beautiful yet alien, resonating deep within his chest, stirring memories of loss and failure. His rigid composure faltered for a moment, but he steeled himself, focusing on his duty to protect the team. In the following hours, the manifestations intensified. The ice pulsed with shifting patterns of light, shadows twisted into shapes that defied logic, and the air grew heavy with a presence that weighed on the spirit. The team gathered, sharing their experiences and fears, the once unified group beginning to fracture under the strain. Ilara took command, her voice steady despite the turmoil. We are facing something beyond our understanding. We must rely on each other now more than ever. This enigma is testing us not just physically, but mentally. If we succumb to fear, we lose everything. Myra, still shaken from her encounter with the alien device, nodded. We have to learn what it wants. Maybe it's a warning or a key. We can't just run from it. But Kessler remained cautious. Every time we push forward, the defenses get stronger. We need a plan that keeps us alive, not just curious. As dawn approached, the team prepared for another day beneath the ever-watchful gaze of the silent watcher. The boundaries between reality and illusion blurred, and the line between friend and foe became perilously thin. The Ilum enigma, ever-present yet unseen, awaited their next move. What it would reveal next and what it demanded in return remained a chilling mystery. The brittle silence inside the crystalline ruins was suddenly broken by a sharp, echoing crack. Ilara Voss instinctively froze, her eyes darting toward the source. The ice beneath their feet shivered like a living thing, a low groan rippling through the frozen ground. Around her, the sprawling pillars of translucent crystal bore the intricate markings of an ancient civilization. But now, spiderweb fractures snaked across their surfaces, threatening to splinter the delicate structures apart. Captain Rion Kessler's gaze snapped upward, scanning the dimming sky beyond the frozen canopy overhead. The ominous rumble intensified, a subtle but unmistakable warning. "We're destabilizing the site," he said bluntly, voice steady but edged with urgency. "If we don't move carefully, this whole place could come down on us." Mira Thallen crouched near a jagged fissure, her fingers brushing over the ice's brittle edge. The usual spark of curiosity in her eyes was now shadowed by uncertainty. "I'm trying to assess if the vibrations are natural, or if our presence has triggered this," she murmured, wrench in hand, ready to intervene if any equipment could stabilize the area. "Every step we take is a risk," Thomas Villa added, his voice tight. "The ground beneath us is shifting. This isn't just old ice cracking. its structural failure on a massive scale. Jonas Reeve moved through the group, checking pulse rates and breathing patterns as stress levels climbed. "Everyone stay calm," he urged quietly. "We need clear heads to make the right call." Alara swallowed hard, weighing the options. The ruins below the ice held answers they had desperately sought, secrets that could redefine history and humanity's place in the cosmos. But the cost of pushing too far was becoming painfully clear. "We document what we can, but we must begin withdrawal soon," she said. "Our priority is the team's safety." Kessler nodded, relief flickering in his eyes as he began coordinating their retreat. Yet even as they moved, the ice groaned ominously beneath their feet. A reminder that Ilum's ancient secrets were guarded not only by cryptic technologies, but by the very planet itself. The tension was palpable as the team hastened their data collection. Cameras flashing against the crystalline walls, scanners humming softly. Every moment spent in the unstable ruins was a gamble, a delicate balance between discovery and disaster. Alara paused to journal a final note before they withdrew a record of their findings, the fractures and the perilous beauty surrounding them. Her pen trembled slightly, a reflection of the fragile line they walked. Outside, the cold wind whipped through the ice forests, carrying with it the silent watch of the Ilum enigma. The planet had spoken its warning, and the expedition had no choice but to listen. As they retreated, the cracks widened, shards of crystal tinkling like glass in the growing stillness. The ruins held their breath, waiting for the next chapter of their story, whether it would be one of revelation or ruin. The team's unity was tested once again as the weight of their decisions settled in. The mystery of the ruins was far from solved, but survival demanded prudence. Alara's mind raced with questions. Could they return safely? Would the planet's secrets remain buried forever? Or was this just the beginning of a far greater journey into the unknown? The icy silence was shattered once more by a distant, thunderous fracture. The ground beneath Ilum was alive, and the expedition stood on the edge of discovery and destruction. In the shadows of the crystalline giants, the Ilum enigma stirred, an ancient sentinel guarding its mysteries with unyielding resolve. The question lingered in the chilled air. How far would they dare go before the ice claimed them all? With their choices made and the path ahead uncertain, the team moved swiftly into the biting cold, each step echoing the fragile hope and mounting dread that defined their perilous quest. The frozen planet waited, silent and unforgiving, as the cracks in the ice whispered of danger and destiny intertwined. The expedition's fate hung in the balance, a delicate dance between courage and caution beneath Ilum's glittering but deadly canopy. The crystalline chamber was silent, except for the soft hum of the portable scanner in Alara Vorse's gloved hands. She crouched before a vast wall of ice-encased inscriptions, the symbols glowing faintly with an otherworldly luminescence. The pale blue light flickered across the sharp angles and curves of the alien script, casting long, wavering shadows that danced along the icy floor and walls. Around her, the rest of the team moved with measured caution, their breaths misting in the frigid air as they awaited her interpretation. Alara's eyes scanned the intricate characters, her mind racing to match the patterns with fragments shed painstakingly collected over the previous weeks. The air was thick with a mixture of excitement and unease. Every discovery here seemed to pull them deeper into a story that was simultaneously wondrous and foreboding. "These symbols," Alara began, her voice low but steady, "they're more than just records. They're warnings." Myra Thalon, crouching nearby and wiping grease from her hands onto her worn jacket, peered over Ilara's shoulder. "Warnings? Like what?" Ilara pointed to a sequence of symbols that shimmered brighter than the others. This passage speaks of the fall of the civilization that built these ruins. It mentions a great falter, catastrophic event, linked to their misuse of the technology embedded in this place. They speak of hubris, of reaching too far without heed for consequence. A cold breeze whispered through a crack in the chamber's crystalline wall, carrying with it the faintest echo of a distant howl. The team stiffened, their senses sharpened by the planet's merciless embrace. Captain Rian Kessler, stationed near the chamber's entrance, shifted his stance, eyes scanning the icy forest visible beyond the translucent walls. "We need to be careful," he said quietly, voice edged with the weight of command. "If their downfall was caused by their technology, we could be risking the same fate." Jonas Reeve, standing slightly apart with his medical kit slung over one shoulder, nodded thoughtfully. The physical toll is already evident. The cold, the fatigue, and now the psychological strain. We have to consider the cost of pushing deeper. Ilara's gaze remained fixed on the wall. Her mind traced the narrative etched in ice, a civilization once vibrant and advanced, whose reach exceeded their grasp. As she deciphered more symbols, a particular phrase stood out, a plea or perhaps a curse directed at any who might follow. "Listen to this," Ilara said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Guardians of knowledge, heed this cry. Those who seek the light must not awaken the shadow. The balance of all things rests on restraint." Myra's fingers twitched involuntarily, as if drawn to the very essence of the warning. The shadow, could that be the Ilum enigma? Ilara nodded slowly. It seems the Guardians created these defenses to protect their secrets, to prevent misuse. But the question is, can we control it? Or will we become victims to the same forces? The chamber around them seemed to pulse faintly, as though the ruins themselves were listening, reacting to their intrusion. Myra's, tinkering with the alien device nearby, caused a sudden flurry of mechanical sounds. The dormant machine, awakening with a hesitant whir. The crystalline floor vibrated subtly beneath their feet. "Maybe we can learn to use their technology for good," Mira said, eyes gleaming with a mix of hope and recklessness. "This could be the breakthrough we need." Kessler's gaze hardened. Or it could be the trigger for another disaster. "We've already seen defenses activate automated systems designed to deter intruders." Jonas stepped forward, placing a steadying hand on Myra's shoulder. "There's a line between curiosity and caution. If we cross it without care, we might not come back." Ilara exhaled slowly, the weight of leadership pressing down. The fragments of the past were no longer just relics. They were a mirror reflecting their own perilous path. How far should they delve? At what cost? The silence stretched, heavy and profound. Then a sudden crack echoed through the chamber, a shard of ice splitting free and tumbling to the floor. The team looked up, tension snapping like a wire. "We need to decide," Ilara said firmly, rising to her feet. "This discovery changes everything. The history, the warnings, they demand respect. But the truth we seek is here, in these fragments. We must weigh knowledge against survival." Outside the crystalline walls, the ice forests shimmered under Ilum's pale sun, indifferent to the fragile humans who dared to uncover secrets older than history itself. The chapter closed on Ilara's determined expression, a flicker of doubt shadowing her eyes. The decision ahead would define not only their fate, but perhaps that of all who followed. And deep beneath the ice, the ancient guardians waited. The biting cold of Ilum seeped into every pore of the expedition's camp, a relentless adversary that wore down flesh and spirit alike. Inside the makeshift medical tent, a fragile sanctuary amid the frozen wasteland, Dr. Jonas Reeve methodically worked to assess the growing toll the environment exacted on the team. The hum of the heaters was a faint comfort against the howling winds outside, yet it could barely mask the undercurrent of anxiety that permeated the air. Alara Voss sat on the narrow examination cat, her hands resting uneasily on her lap. Jonas's gloved fingers gently lifted one of her trembling hands, inspecting the pale, numb fingers with practiced care. "The frostbite is advancing faster than I anticipated," he murmured, his voice steady yet carrying a note of concern. "You're pushing yourself too hard, Alara. Your body is signaling that it's near its breaking point." Alara forced a faint smile, the determination in her eyes undimmed despite the visible strain. "We don't have the luxury to slow down, Jonas. Every hour we delay is a risk to the entire mission." Jonas shook his head gently, adjusting the thermal wraps around her fingers. "If you collapse, there won't be a mission at all. We need to address the physical and mental fatigue before it becomes irreversible." Outside the tent, the camp was a hive of quiet activity, the team members moving with a weariness that betrayed their exhaustion. Mira Thalon hovered near the command console, her fingers dancing over the controls with frantic energy. The soft glow of the screens illuminated the grease smudges on her face, a testament to hours spent battling malfunctioning equipment. "Mira, you need to rest," Lena Ortiz called from across the room, her voice gentle but firm. "The systems can wait. Your health can't." Mira's eyes flickered with frustration. "If we don't get these sensors back online, we won't know what's coming. We can't afford another surprise like last week." Jonas approached, placing a calming hand on her shoulder. "Listen to Lena. Your brain needs a break, or you won't be able to think clearly when it matters most." Reluctantly, Mira nodded, allowing herself to be guided toward a cot, the weight of responsibility momentarily lifted. Captain Rion Kessler stood apart from the others, his broad frame silhouetted against the frosted viewport of the command module. His scarred cheek was set in a grim line, eyes scanning the frozen expanse with a vigilance born of experience and pain. The memories of past failures clawed at his resolve, each icy gust a reminder of lives lost and battles barely won. "We're running thin on supplies," he muttered to himself, voice barely audible. "If the storm holds, we're trapped." Ilara entered the module, her expression sober. "We need to prepare for every possibility, Rian. That means rationing, contingency plans, and maybe difficult decisions." Kessler's gaze hardened. "We do what we must. No one gets left behind." The tension between them was a fragile thread, frayed by fatigue and fear, but unbroken. In a quieter corner of the camp, Lena Ortiz worked tirelessly at the communication arrays, her fingers deftly adjusting frequencies as she hunted for any sign of Earth's distant voice. The crackling static was a constant reminder of their isolation, but her optimism remained unyielding. "I think I've got something," she announced suddenly, drawing Ilara's attention. Ilara approached, her eyes scanning the fluctuating signal patterns. "Is it the transmission?" "It's fragmented, but yes, it's definitely related. I'm going to keep trying. We need that connection more than ever." For a moment, the heavy weight of the frozen planet lifted, replaced by a fragile thread of hope. Back in the medical tent, Jonas documented his observations with meticulous care. The physical symptoms were only part of the picture. The psychological strain was equally alarming. Nightmares plagued the team, tempers flared, and the once cohesive group showed signs of fracturing under the relentless pressure. He caught Ilara during a rare moment of vulnerability, her eyes distant as she scribbled in her journal. "Jonas, will we make it through this?" He met her gaze steadily. We have to, but it means facing not just the planet's dangers, but the ones within ourselves. As darkness fell once more over Ilum, the camp settled into a tense quiet. Outside, the crystalline ice forests shimmered under the pale light, beautiful and indifferent. The expedition was at a crossroads. Survival demanded more than endurance. It required trust, sacrifice, and the courage to confront the pressure points threatening to shatter them all. And somewhere deep beneath the ice, the Ilum enigma pulsed with silent anticipation, watching, waiting for the next move.